Are you planning to buy a house in 2024? Here's why you might want to reconsider. Now, we all know that buying a house is a significant decision, one that often symbolizes a milestone in our lives. But as with all major decisions, it's crucial to weigh the pros and cons, and 2024 presents some unique challenges that potential homebuyers should be aware of. In this video, we're going to explore some of these challenges. We'll talk about the rising costs, where we're seeing prices up by 5% compared to last year. We'll discuss the maintenance trap, including the added burden of property tax and the rising costs of labor and materials due to inflation. We'll also delve into the rush to buy. Are we taking the time to carefully evaluate properties, or are we getting swept up in the frenzy? Finally, we'll discuss the dangers of living above our means and the pitfalls of buying a fixer-upper without a careful evaluation. So, before you sign that check, let's delve into why 2024 might not be your year to buy. First off, the price tags on houses have been on a steady climb. Recent data shows a significant increase in housing prices, with a rise of around 5% over the past year alone. This means that if you were eyeing a house that cost $300,000 last year, you're now looking at an additional $15,000 on top of that, and that's before you even add in the interest on your mortgage. It's not just about the numbers, though. Let's delve into what's driving this increase. The economy plays a significant role, of course. As it grows, so does the demand for housing, pushing prices upwards. But it's not just about supply and demand. Other factors are at play too. For instance, the cost of building materials is on the rise, forcing developers to hike up their prices. Then there's the issue of location. Areas with high job growth or popular amenities are seeing their property values skyrocket. And let's not forget the impact of inflation, subtly but surely eroding the value of your money. Now, what does this mean for potential buyers like you? Simply put, you're going to have to shell out more for your dream home. And this doesn't just mean a higher down payment. Your monthly mortgage payments will also be larger, potentially straining your budget. So why are we telling you all this? Not to discourage you from buying a house, but to give you a clear-eyed view of the realities of the housing market in 2024. It's important to have all the facts at hand before making such a big financial decision. And remember, buying a house is not just about the purchase price. You also need to factor in the ongoing costs, such as maintenance, property taxes, and insurance. These can add up to a significant amount over time, further stretching your budget. So, if you're thinking of buying, prepare to dig deeper into your pockets. And more importantly, think long and hard about whether this is the right time for you to jump into the housing market. Next, let's tackle the hidden monster, maintenance costs. Just like that vintage car that you thought would be a fun project, owning a house can come with a host of unexpected and expensive repairs. First off, there's property tax. This isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a recurring expense that you'll have to handle every year. The rates can vary significantly depending on where you live, but you can expect to shell out a few $1,000s annually. And remember, property taxes tend to rise over time, not decrease. Then, there's the labor. Need to fix a leaky faucet? That's a plumber's visit. Is your roof showing signs of wear and tear? You'll need a roofer for that. Each of these professionals charge by the hour, and let's be honest, their time doesn't come cheap. And let's not forget about inflation. The cost of materials and labor doesn't stay the same year after year. In fact, they usually go up. This means that the $500 repair job today could very well cost you $600 or $700 a few years down the line. Now, you might be thinking, I'll just do the repairs myself and save on labor costs. That's a great plan if you have the time, skills, and tools, but if you don't, you could end up causing more damage and spending more in the long run. All these costs can significantly pile up over time, making the total cost of owning a home much higher than the sticker price. And this doesn't even include the regular costs of keeping a house in good shape, like cleaning, lawn care, and seasonal maintenance. So before you sign on the dotted line, take a long, hard look at your budget. Consider not just the mortgage payments, but also these hidden costs of homeownership. Are you really prepared for the financial commitment that a house entails? Remember, buying the house is just the first step. Keeping it in shape is a whole other ballgame. Then there's the pressure to buy quickly, often without thorough evaluation. In the whirlwind rush to secure a house, many buyers find themselves swept up in the current. The real estate market, especially in 2024, can be a fierce and fast-paced arena. But here's where we need to pump the brakes a bit. In this whirl of activity, it's all too easy to overlook crucial aspects of a property. Maybe it's the neighborhood's crime rate, perhaps it's the proximity to schools or workplaces, or it could be as simple as the house's layout not suiting your lifestyle. These are elements that might not spring to mind in the heat of the moment but can lead to serious regret down the line. Now let's talk about the financial implications. In the haste to close the deal, you might sail past red flags like structural problems, outdated wiring, or a leaky roof. These issues are not just minor inconveniences, they could amount to major expenses in the future. The cost of repairs, renovations, or even legal issues if you've overlooked zoning laws or property boundaries can quickly turn your dream home into a money pit. The importance of careful evaluation before making a purchase cannot be overstated. Sure, it might feel like you're swimming against the current when everyone else seems to be closing deals left and right. But remember, a house is not just a purchase, it's an investment, a commitment, a place where you plan to build your life. It's worth taking the time to ensure you're making the right decision. So, how can you protect yourself from falling into this trap? The answer is simple. Do your homework. Get a professional inspection. Research the neighborhood. Understand the market. Consult with professionals. Make a checklist of what you want in a house and stick to it. Don't let the fear of missing out force you into a hasty decision. Don't let the market pressure you into making a hasty decision you might regret. As the old saying goes, act in haste, repent at leisure. In the rush to buy, make sure you're not overlooking the most important aspect, your peace of mind. Many buyers also fall into the trap of living beyond their means. It's an all too common scenario. You fall in love with a house that's just out of your price range, but you convince yourself that you can make it work. After all, who wouldn't want to live in their dream home? But here's the thing, buying a house isn't just about the purchase price. When you take on a mortgage, you're also committing to a long-term financial obligation. And if that mortgage is larger than what you can comfortably afford, it can lead to a lot of financial strain. Imagine this, you're spending most of your income on mortgage payments. This leaves little room for other essential expenses like groceries, utilities, transportation, and let's not forget the unexpected costs that inevitably pop up. Suddenly, your dream home starts to feel more like a financial burden. What's more, high mortgage rates can compound this problem. Mortgage rates are essentially the cost of borrowing money to buy a house. The higher the mortgage rate, the more you end up paying in the long run. And if you're already stretching your budget to afford the house, high mortgage rates can make things even more difficult. So, before you sign on that dotted line, it's crucial to take a hard look at your finances. Ask yourself, can I comfortably afford the mortgage payments? Do I have enough saved for a rainy day? Am I prepared for the additional costs of homeownership? Remember, a house is not just an investment, it's also your home. It's where you'll make memories, celebrate milestones, and spend time with loved ones. But all of that loses its charm if your house becomes a source of financial stress. So don't let the excitement of buying a home cloud your judgment. It's important to buy within your means, even if that means settling for a smaller house or a less desirable neighborhood. Because in the end, your financial health is just as important as owning a home. A dream home can quickly become a nightmare if it leaves you drowning in debt. Finally, let's talk about the allure of the fixer-upper. This is a term that's become almost romanticized, right? A diamond in the rough, a project to pour your heart into. But let's pause for a moment. Buying a fixer-upper can seem like a steal initially, but it often ends up costing more than you bargained for. Imagine this. You've just signed the papers on a quaint century-old home. You're prepared for a bit of elbow grease, but then the unexpected happens. The plumbing needs a complete overhaul. The roof has hidden damage. The foundation isn't as sturdy as you thought. Soon, your budget for a fresh coat of paint and some new kitchen cabinets has ballooned into a small fortune. The key here is to carefully evaluate the property and potential renovation costs before buying. Don't let the charm of a fixer-upper blind you to its potential pitfalls. So, before you fall for that charming fixer-upper, make sure you know what you're getting into. So, should you buy a house in 2024? We've covered a lot today, from the 5% rise in prices, the hidden costs of maintenance, the rush to buy without careful evaluation, living above your means, and the pitfalls of fixer-uppers. Buying a house can be a solid investment, but it's crucial to consider all the potential costs and risks. Think carefully, plan wisely, and remember sometimes the best decision is to wait